Hey, it's 2 o'clock, and that must mean you're right where you need to be, here with Gun Stuff TV, live from Newport, Kentucky. Hey, you know, in the news everywhere they're talking about Russians. Russians here, Russians there. Well, we've got something Russian, and you're going to like it, but it has something to do with what you're interested in, ammo. Just glad to have you all back. We just want to make sure I didn't get that wrong. I've been doing my research. It is made in Russia. And I have two of my favorite Russians with us here in the studio, Dave and Kara. Speak a little of that lingo for us.
Spasiba.
Oh, wow. I love the way you talk like that. We'll have to get together after the show. So it's a lot of fun to have you. You guys are representing today Barno Ammo.
Yep.
Yep. And then we have some treats here at the very end.
Yeah.
So before we get too far along here, I want to tell our hats off to Faxon Firearms, who is our sponsor for this year's live broadcast, and we do appreciate Faxon. And I wanted to remind you folks too that this is a social media giveaway. Now you'll see the famous Gun Stuff hat, and just luckily, you know, we went out, we got rid of 3 gross of these here this last week, but we have a new boatload just came in, and you can get yours. All you need to do is make a comment. And if you want to direct a question to my erstwhile friend here, Scott Kiefner, Scott will be monitoring the email. So if you make any comment or any questions, we're going to try and monitor that and answer it right here on the show. So you can get a hat today. We also will have this roll pin wizard. What else do we have? The gas block genie. And Muñoz Defense, oh, we've been talking about this here for weeks. If you haven't got one of these, we've been sending these out, and we're going to announce the winners here at the end of the show. But, more important, Kara, tell us what we're going to give some lucky winner. What do we got?
So one lucky winner will win a free case of Barnaul 223 Full Metal Jacket boat tail. So 500 rounds of it.
500 rounds.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That sounds like a whole lot of fun.
That's a fun day at the range, 500 rounds.
223, and that's for that nasty AR-15 platform that happens to be America's most favorite gun. Right?
Absolutely, yeah. And one of our favorite rounds to shoot too. So.
And let's zoom in on that. You can see right now, right ahead of us. Can we zoom in? Oh yes, you're going to love this box. When you see this box, this could be heading your way. Well, in just a matter of days, all you need to do is make a comment. Scott, what should they do?
I really don't know, because I'm like, oh, well, I do jumping jacks or something.
Yeah.
Whatever. Have me run around the building. I mean, I do all kinds of different things for a case of ammo. So.
All they got to do is make a comment on this live stream, and they're going to get it. So that's a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
And tell your friends about it. And I've got another screenshot here to represent Inland Manufacturing and Barno Ammo. So tell us a little bit about this ammo. You have that thick Russian accent, and you've been over here long enough you kind of shed some of that.
Yeah, I've gotten rid of it. You know, I hide it.
Could you just say it one more time? I love that.
I said spasiba.
Oh, wow. I love that thick accent. Tell us, you were over there recently, weren't you?
Yeah, I was over there in October, and I went and visited the factory, which was really neat, and we did some business, you know, had some meetings, drank a lot of vodka. Of course, not when we were shooting, but a lot of vodka, and ate some really good food. So it was a really fun time.
Oh, so they don't have the guns and alcohol ranges over there?
No, they're very safe. They are very safe. We had eyes and ears on, of course, and always a hat, and you know, the standard range rules were still there as well.
I am almost disappointed.
I know. I thought it was going to be like Wild Wild West. It was not. It was they're very friendly, but very strict business people. So, you know, they really are very serious and take everything very seriously. When we talk about the ammunition, they actually do over 16 visual checks on every single round that comes through. And we're talking about, like, our next import is over 5 million rounds that comes in February. So, I mean, they're moving a lot of ammo. And we are by far, they supply special forces, Russian special forces, and a lot of governments all across the world. So they're moving tons and tons of ammo, literally. So it was really interesting to see, and it was a really fun trip. Yeah.
Now you've got one in your hand.
Yeah.
Now that's the 223.
This is the 223.
And just hold that still a minute, and we're going to get a real tight shot on that. Well, maybe. How about here?
Yeah.
Just sort of hold it in
my,
front of you.
my shirt's a little.
There you go.
There we
you
go.
Yeah, it was zooming on the
Lost in the camouflage.
on the past. Yeah.
Sorry, we're camo.
So tell us, right. So tell us about this, the jacket and so forth. What's
Sure.
going on?
So this is a polymer coated steel cased jacket, so casing, and then the bullet has a copper wash on it. This one is a full metal jacket and boat tail, so the bullet is a boat tail bullet. Yeah.
So the polymer jacket, back in the old days, sometimes people said the steel casings weren't the greatest, right?
Yeah, and that is a myth these days. The steel in your barrel is very, very hard. So this steel is much softer, so it's not going to affect your barrel over time. And the polymer just helps it feed for tighter tolerances.
Well, I was throwing there too and saying a lot of that myth stemmed from too was the lacquer coated stuff, the green, like we have in the 7.62 variants. A lot of that came from the lacquer in particular, not the polymer.
The lacquer,
cased.
yeah, that's really what
the
I
lacquer
was
stuff.
talking about.
And it was
Some of
really,
the lacquer
particularly in
we-
the ARs too, on top of that.
Yeah.
It was real focused on that demographic of the cartridges. But with the polymer, it's never been
So
an
so it
issue.
was a lacquer, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like what you paint on the barn door or something. But this
Right.
stuff is
This stuff is solid.
space
Right.
age kind of stuff.
Yeah, it is. And the lacquer, we still do use the lacquer in a lot of the Russian, like the AK, all of the AK ammunition still has the lacquer because it was made for that.
Yeah.
So all of the Russian ammunition originally was lacquered, and that's what their guns are still spec to use. So
Oh, okay, so the AK is a little more loosey-goosey, isn't it, Scott?
Yeah, so the taper of the chamber on the AK is a little more slanted, whereas like a 5.56 has a more of a straight walled cartridge on the way out. So when you get a little bit of that lacquer buildup on there, sometimes it has a little bit of problem with ejecting. But the polymers and some of the coatings they use on steel rounds now and the softness of the steel has no effect on it whatsoever. But the AK, because of the tapered chamber, can eat a lot of different types of ammo. I mean, it's just that taper really allows it to, once it pulls back just a fraction, it completely disengages from the sidewalls and of the chamber, and it just ejects freely. So that's part of the reason that the AK can take more.
They can take more, but the AR-15 now is really built for this kind of stuff. So when you were over there, tell us, I mean, they're no newcomer. They didn't just start making this last week, did they? Or did they?
No.
I could be wrong.
No. So they actually produced the most ammunition in World War II, during World War II, more than anyone else. They've been producing ammunition for over 70 years. So it is tested. It is, like I said, they have over 16 individual visual specs that they look for on every piece of ammo. So like for hours, they would just be rolling ammo through to see if there were any imperfections, and they throw those out. I mean, it's no questions asked. So it is great ammo, and it's really widely known around the world. But just in the past year, we've been bringing it into the U.S. to try to grow the brand name and teach Americans that steel case ammo is just as good as brass these days. So that's kind of
So if you were a German back in World War II, you were probably dodging this ammo coming
Yes.
at you, and you're sticking your head up. There goes that Barno ammo.
Probably.
again. A daggone
like
Barno.
that more in particular.
bigger.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, go with the 54R, you know.
Yeah, look at that baby.
yeah.
Yeah, now that's fun. You know, it's too bad we can't shoot these guns during this little live broadcast. Oh, by the way, we're very, very safe here. Everything's unloaded,
Yep.
Yeah.
and it's very infrequent that we have ammo even in the studio here.
Right.
And we are very careful. So don't mistake my poor sense of humor for a safety violation. So you say they do millions and millions of rounds, and it's very popular. In what, all of the European countries?
Yeah, Germany, I know they do a lot of exporting to Germany and all over Canada. It's very popular in Canada as well. They have everything from pistol rounds all the way up to 308, 54R. So they do kind of a little bit of everything.
So you got millions of rounds coming this way that you guys. Now, are you the only distributor in the United
we're the
States?
exclusive distributor, marketer, and importer for Barnall ammunition in the U.S. So you can go to any dealer and find it, or online, of course, you can purchase it there too.
Well, that's a lot of ammo coming through your place, isn't it?
Without
It
a doubt.
is, yeah.
Without a doubt.
We bring in it's a shocking amount of ammunition, and just that's imported into the U.S. I mean, not just us, but
So does it come in on a boat, or then it's semis, or you get these big containers, or what?
All the above.
Yeah.
All the above.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it comes in an ocean freight, so a container is loaded, and that's roughly 1.2 million rounds are in one container, and then it's transported, comes into a port on the East Coast, transported into a 53 and brought to us. And then it's on skids, of course, so pallets.
Wow, that's amazing. You know what, Kara? You need to get us to come up there sometime. I think, Chris, our DP, you wouldn't mind coming up and seeing them unloading some of that. That would be.
Maybe you skip February because it's going to probably be really cold, but in the summer you should. It's really, it's pretty amazing. We have, a top secret bunker full of warehouse or full of ammunition.
Yeah, super secret warehouse.
Yeah, our super secret warehouse. And it is full of ammunition right now as we speak too. It's constantly coming in and going out. So we try to keep the supply there so that consumers who like to shoot just like we do have it available.
You got any internet up there?
We in the bunker, I don't know.
It might be a little sparse out in the super secret warehouse.
Yeah. Well, if you got a long enough Ethernet cable, we'll come on up here
We
and do
can
a live
manage that.
broadcast
We
up
could
there.
probably figure it
We
out.
can totally
yeah.
manage that.
That'd be fun. So tell us what kind of ammo you got here. So I see all kinds of shapes and boxes. What's going on?
We got was the more famous typical 7.62-39. You know, your classic AK round in the lacquer finish.
There's a 223.
More 223 doing in the soft point boat tail,
All right.
which you have one of those out as well. Hanging out bring was the 40 Smith & Wesson, which I think I'm trying to remember 165 grain. Which do we do more than one grain weight of that? Is that it?
And the what?
And the 40 cal.
No, just one.
40 cal.
That's what I thought. Obviously, we talked earlier was the classic 7.62-54R. We did that in a soft
That's
point there.
that one right here, and we can zoom in real tight on it, which is very nice. Thank you, Mr. Producer.
Yeah, we had that in a soft point. We also do it in full metal jacket.
All right.
We're going to hollow points in that too? I don't
Yes.
remember.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yep.
Then next one over, another famous Russian caliber, the 5.45x39, most commonly known to be in the AK-74, which was kind of their answer to the R223-556.
Yep.
Same thing, hollow point, soft point, full metal jacket, so it had the whole variety. Those we do all in the polymer jacket. People just kind of like it more, they favor it more. I mean, we can bring it in the lacquer coat, but
Yeah.
we've had some requests for that, but for the most part, it's the polymer. People like the polymer jacket.
The polymer, yeah. If they've had, a historical problem with the lacquer, they're going to like the.
Right, absolutely.
It kind of depends on the firearm too.
Oh,
Like
It
you-
absolutely
like-
does.
yeah.
Absolutely does. Absolutely.
Yep.
And then the last one we have is the 308, which again, soft point there on display, and we also still bring in hollow points, full metal jackets, and multiple grain weights, which is all on the website. You can see everything we have that we're currently bringing in. So we've got a pretty good variety that can feed just about anybody's needs, really and truly. You know, from target shooting, or if it's 3-gun type setups, or if you were hunting with a soft point or even the hollow points. I mean, we kind of have your bases covered pretty well.
Well, there are a lot of layers between the manufacturer, now the distributor, and then, then there's actually distributors. You're above the distributor because you send out to the big distributors,
Right.
and then there are the dealers. But thinking through all of those different layers, what do you think the street price of this is going to be? More expensive than a lot of competitive ammo, less expensive, or in the middle of the road, or what do you think? What do you think our end users are going to be experiencing as far as pricing on this stuff?
Sure. So we have sharpened our pencils on our pricing, so it's very competitive with all of the steel case ammunition. Always steel case is more affordable than brass, so we're in that realm too. But it is a good price, it's a good value, and it all works. So.
And now that it's got that polymer coating, then people they can save money and still have their guns function well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and all these they're all offered in your 223s is 55 grain, your 9mm 115 grain. These are the industry standards for over here.
Yep.
So just about every AR in the U.S. is going to cycle this just fine, and any 9mm most of them are all designed to cycle these grain weight bullets and these calibers. So you'll be able to find what you need. That's for sure.
Yeah.
We were talking a little bit ago about World War II. Now, believe it or not, that's a little bit before my time. and I know. Scott, has anybody made any comments in there?
Right here. Oh no, people are watching, but no. Yeah.
Okay, you make some comments. You get your
case
chance
ammo.
to. Yeah, you should. If you're
We
watching,
got a bunch of people watching.
you
but I
can get
just-
some
but
free
nobody's-
ammo. Okay,
Free
make some
ammo,
comments on there. So back then, World War II, that a lot of that technology is still with us today. A couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the Walter PPK. That was invented actually prior. And one of the guns that won World War II, I think you brought with us today, didn't you, Dave? What do you got down there?
Yeah, it's classic for sure. The Inland M1 carbine. Here, I'll pass it.
All right, so for people that are just tuning in, they don't know what a carbine is. What is a carbine?
Carbine, I mean, it's I don't want to say a shorter rifle, but typically from your old school World War II area, rifles were 20 inches, much longer guns, whereas now we're used to rifles being 16 inches easily. So these are actually 18-inch guns, but so it's a lot shorter and lighter than your typical full-size rifle like the M1 Garand everyone's familiar with. So this being a lighter package, yeah, it's the M1 carbine. A little smaller cartridge, still 30 caliber, but shooting 30 carbine to go along with it. But it's a really light, handy package that was kind of like, I don't want to say your original like AR platform back then, but it kind of was, because it was that lighter gun, newer cartridge, but guys loved it. Guys really did love it. I mean, because again, you're not carrying the weight of an M1 Garand, you're not carrying the weight of the 30-06. It's just a much lighter, easier maneuverable package.
Yeah, the M1 Garand had quite a kick to it also. And also, just, trooping around in the Battle of the Bulge, carrying those heavy
8
weapons.
pounds versus 5.
Yeah, so 5 pounds versus 8. Wow, that's a big difference.
Well, a lot of things that a lot of people don't usually take into account is, you're going into battle, you're grabbing a rifle like a M1 or something like that. You're going to carry as many rounds as you can, and you greatly outnumber the weight of the gun in ammunition. So when you're able to carry a couple boxes of 30 cal or a couple extra sticks of 30 cal or whatever in your pockets and in your gear, you can carry a lot more bullets than if you're going.
Yeah, I'd rather carry more bullets than a bigger gun, right?
Yeah, I mean, I carried a M60, which is chambered 7.62 in the military, and I mean, you just carry a couple hundred rounds, and a couple bandoliers, and you've already outweighed the gun by twice.
Now we know how Scott gets so big welled up. There, you look at those arms, that's from carrying all that ammo. So on the back here, I noticed on this is a little different here. Tell us about the stock. What's going on here?
Well, all this is original to what the original spec M1 carbines were. This is on the slot on the side is where your oiler would go in.
The what?
The oiler.
Okay.
But the oiler was an integral part for using your sling, because you would loop your sling through on this side,
okay,
sliding your oiler in and pulling tension on the sling through, and that was your rear sling mount.
Oh, I get you.
That's what that was.
That's fantastic. Now, this looks like a historical weapon, but this isn't, is it?
No, this is all brand new production.
Brandon, now what kind of wood do we have
It's
here?
still
Now, you
walnut.
guys can't see this, but we'll zoom in there. You can see what kind of
It's still walnut. It's a walnut stock.
walnut
Yep,
stock.
just like the originals.
That is beautiful, isn't it?
It is. It is.
It's a work of art.
Part of the trick, what the new Inland has done is they actually went researching and finding somebody from the original Inland, and they actually found the process and the formulation they used for staining the stocks. They do the same thing on the new guns.
Awesome.
So that's why they look so good in that sense.
Yeah.
It's not just a stain from off the shelf from Lowe's or whatever. It is the same process they did it back in the 40s. They do now. That's why they look that immaculate.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So this is the same loving care that they put
Absolutely.
back then, and a gun like this will last forever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the action on those things are just so durable. I mean,
Speaking
they
of the
just-
action, now like
yeah.
we said, we've cleared this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, you're just
Here,
not
Scott.
you're just not going to wear this thing out. I don't care what you do to it. You're not going to wear it out. And this is very similar to the M1, the Garand and all those. I mean, these things just can take a beating when they get in there and they lock in. I mean, and especially with this round, it can eat this round all day. So yeah, these things are amazing.
Well, hopefully we won't ever have to get into a conflict again like
Yeah.
that.
So-
but I think there might be some people that still would like to shoot that.
Oh,
I understand
absolutely.
you guys
And they're,
have
and they're
a-
built for that too. I mean,
I understand you guys have a modern version of this.
yeah, this
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
this is a mix. Yeah, this is
Yeah.
our part of our new M30 series, which is all M30 being all modernizing of the M1 carbine. So at its core, it's still an M1 carbine chassis. That's all it is. Or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, receiver
Receiver.
in an aluminum chassis. And this is actually, I'm going to say, is kind of our in between. This was the initial run of the M30s, which is a heavily modified Sage chassis, which some people know Sage from what was the EBR chassis they do for the M14.
Yes.
So this was one that they had made for the M1 carbines, but again, heavily modified from what you would buy stock from them to become the M30 series. And it is modular, it is newer, but we kind of wanted to go even more modular and more new. So the newer versions you'll be seeing coming out soon, instead of the Picatinny rail, you still have it on the top and on the bottom and the sides are replaced out with M-lock slots. So you get the direct attachment, appeasement of modern accessories. But otherwise, it's still going to be the same gun, aluminum chassis, the same magazine. So I think we're shipping these with 10, but they'll still take 15-round mags, the 30-round mags. But on all, obviously the fun thing too is this is a pistol. We're running the
Mod 2.
Yes, thank you. The Gearhead Works Mod 2 is on this one currently, tailhook arm brace. This guy's running a 12.5-inch barrel. We make a smaller version that's called the Imp for Inland Motor Patrol. That one, it'll have a receiver stock set same way, so you could put an arm brace on it, but it doesn't come with it. And it's also running a shorter barrel, running at like 7.5 inches. So I mean, you're basically talking to that. It's a pretty small, tight little package, but still throwing out 30 carbine.
Now,
I believe you guys brought that one down with you the last time you were on the show.
That would be great for guy as a patrolman on a
absolutely.
motorcycle or whatever.
That was the design intention for it. Yeah. They can
And-
fit in the saddlebags real easily and have a little more firepower than their handgun.
Well, this would be great for home defense.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, they both come with iron sights.
Yeah, they all come with iron sights. On the Imp, it's a little different because you don't have the arm brace already attached on it. So you actually have a modified rear peep sight and a fiber optic front set in the rail set. So you can actually hold it out like a regular pistol, and it shoots pretty well like that by itself, as is.
You know, a lot of manufacturers, I don't know if they're trying to save price, cut the cost down or whatever, but they don't include any type of sight. So this is very unusual.
It kind of is. It kind of is. I mean, biggest thing with that is it's a package ready to go right out the door. You know, if you want to throw an optic on there, cool, great, but you don't need to because the irons are there. I mean,
Oh yeah, Christmas comes early. There's my Christmas tree back here. You see the Christmas tree. There's something about the pistol size. The first time I heard about it, I thought, oh, that's kind of crazy. But wow, when you realize that this gives you so much more accuracy, and when push comes to shove in a self-defense situation, I think I much prefer this. Not that I don't mind a pistol. I mean, that's great too.
Sure.
But in a home defense, at nighttime or whatever, this would be great. And you can put your lights on here, lasers, whatever.
well, you just get more control, more maneuverability.
Yeah, and just far more accuracy. We've taken our 9mm subguns like MP5s and the Colt models and stuff like that I've been issued over the years. Playing around at other ranges. I mean, we've been able to reach out hundreds of yards. With those, with stuff you just can't do with a handgun.
Right.
But,
A skilled shooter's one thing, but yeah.
The longer sight radius, being able to get a little more stable platform and just a little bit longer barrel can take you out so much further, and it gives it just a little bit more chamber pressure, a little bit more speed. Gives that barrel, gives that bullet a little more accuracy to it. So you can really reach out with these things. I love
30 carbine. I mean, if you haven't shot it, it's almost zero felt recoil. It's like shooting a 22.
Yeah.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, it's fantastic for new shooters or smaller framed shooters. And they're just fun to shoot. I mean, they're
to which I'll
tack
say
drivers.
all those points better in the carbine than the pistol because those things are flamethrowers.
Yeah.
It doesn't recoil anymore, but it's a flamethrower.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's one more positive feature as far as I'm concerned. Hey, you know what? I don't want to put you guys under any pressure, but you know what we should do is maybe I could twist your arms. You could let us take this out to the range, and we'll get some video of this, because this would be a lot of fun.
This would be a lot of fun to
Let me
shoot.
ask you this: the retail pricing on the street price for these fine firearms. What do you think? Just
Like on the 1945 model, I think we're sitting around $1,100, $1,200 MSRP.
Okay.
So I mean, typically on the street you're gonna find it low under $1,000. The M30 series, I think with the chassis and all that, they're usually MSRPs of $1,400, $1,500.
okay, so it's all fairly reasonable for this type of stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Well, we appreciate bringing you guys into our studio. Now, just one other question: will it run the Barnell ammo?
Well, we don't have 30 carbine yet.
Oh,
We're trying
I
to
said no,
work
it
with-
come out,
Yeah.
I
I do have one
thought
question.
so.
You got a bunch of people asking the prices on the 9mm, stuff like that. So do you guys have any of the pricing? All that.
Oh, they all
wanna
yeah,
know.
You got. I don't. We don't expect them to be able to rattle off the
Yeah.
prices for all this stuff. But just off the top of your head, if you like a general or anything like that, or per case or per or anything.
Okay, so 223, you're looking at about 23 cents a round.
Okay.
And depending on if you're buying a box or a case of it, that's about the same with 7.62 by 39. 9mm, I want to say
trying to recall. It's been a
like
while since I looked.
14.
Yeah.
That sound about right? 14.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
about, yeah. So, I
So-
mean, that sounds about in the ballpark. You know, when you're shopping on stuff, and a lot of people that when you're buying ammo, you know, there's a lot of different gun search, you know, ammo searching sites and things like that people like to use, and it kicks it out by price per bullet, or you know, so. Those are all well under the normal prices.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's
you know.
always going to be very affordable.
Yeah.
And you know, our ammunition, like you said, it's kind of either listed by per round, per case, or even per box. So it varies, but everywhere you go is going to be pretty much standard about the same. So
Yeah.
check out a few places and. you
Well,
know.
that sounds great.
Just like we were talking about earlier with it being like at the grain weights and stuff like that. So like, you know, just for instance, your 55 grain 223, you know, most of your scopes that have drops in them or anything like that, they're all based off the 55 grain bullets and things. So, you know, depending on the what you're shooting, and you know, clicks and adjustments and all those things are based off those industry standards. So the fact that you guys already have that, you know, you got this at this price point, you know, you can go out and you can shoot these, you can train with them, and they'll still be right there where you want. But I mean, if you want to go ultimate long range or something like that, then it's still going to have the same ballistics. It's still going to have the same drops.
Right.
It's still going to have the same velocities. So, you know, it's a great option for getting out there and putting some serious rounds down range.
So when's the boat? And what I'm picturing, I'm picturing a ship coming up from New Orleans all the way up here and docking on the Newport on the levee. When is that going to hit stateside?
It's scheduled for February 3rd, so usually there's like a 10-day buffer, and you could have customs stop it for 5 days or so to see what's in it, open it up. So I would expect to have this, and we do already have things in stock, but the next shipment will be in early February.
So you have some in stock now.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
we're still shipping now. Retailers have it now. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
It's
not.
a-
No,
it's
we're not empty of ammo.
available.
We're not stuck waiting till February for more ammo to sell it. No, we're still selling. We still have it.
Well, I tell you what, I'm a little bit remiss. I'm gonna make sure that we get this up on the Gun Stuff site so we can start selling it to our audience. And our audience is very familiar with us, of our aggressive pricing on ammo, because we want you to shoot and train and shoot a lot of it. So we're gonna get it up there. Well, we're just about at the end of our show. I did want to announce our winners from this last week. Now, by the way, Kara, Dave, we're gonna, it sounds like we got some people that have commented. Your names are gonna go in a hat, and you can win for next week this case of Barno ammo. But for this week, we've got, let's see, Michael Burzak has won the ADCO. Now, all ammo needs to be loaded, and that's what this is all about. So you register, and you folks can register at thegunstuff.tv for ADCO. You get this in giveaway. And then last week we were talking about the self-defense Muño, and those key tags this week, Sumner Griggs and Noel DeMania won it. And thanks a lot for guys registering for our content. And thank you folks. Now remember, next week we're going to be gone because it's the day after Christmas, but we'll be back in 2 weeks. So thanks for you guys coming, and thanks for
having us.
watching. And remember, get your stuff at Gun Stuff.